Some days, everything just feels annoying. Not because something big happened, just small things back to back. People, noise, conversations, situations, things that normally wouldn't bother you, suddenly do. And the confusing part is, you know you shouldn't react. You know snapping won't help. But in that moment, staying calm feels harder than it should. This video is about those moments. Not about pretending irritation doesn't exist, and not about forcing yourself to be calm either. I want to talk about why irritation shows up so easily, how we usually react to it, where those reactions go wrong, and what actually helps you to stay calm without losing control. Because irritation isn't random, and calm isn't something you either have or don't have. Most of the time, it's about how you respond, not what's happening. So let's break it down properly. Irritation usually builds up in ordinary situations. You're already tired and someone keeps talking. You're trying to focus and you keep getting interrupted. You're around people when you actually need space. Sometimes it's not the situation, it's the timing. You're mentally full, but nothing around you slows down. And sometimes irritation comes from holding things in for too long, not reacting earlier, not setting limits, not saying no when you should have. So when something small happens, it feels bigger than it is. This is usually the point where reactions start. When irritation shows up, most reactions are automatic. You either react outwardly, you snap, your tone changes, and you become sharp without meaning to. Or you react inwardly. You stay quiet, but you are annoyed inside. Your body is tense, your thoughts are loud, and the irritation keeps building. Both reactions feel different, but they lead to the same problem. The irritation doesn't actually go away. When we snap, it creates friction with people, with situations, and later with ourselves. And when we stay silent but irritated, the feeling doesn't settle. It just turns into mental noise. Another common mistake is trying to force calmness, telling yourself things like don't react, just stay calm, this shouldn't bother you. But irritation doesn't respond to pressure. The more you fight it, the louder it gets. This is usually where things go wrong. We focus on stopping the feeling instead of managing the response. Staying calm isn't about becoming quiet or passive, and it's not about pretending you're okay when you're not. Most people think calmness means control, but in reality, calmness comes from awareness. The moment you notice irritation rising, that's already the most important step. Not fixing it, not stopping it, just noticing it. Because irritation usually escalates when we ignore it or when we react too quickly. One thing that helps is slowing down your response, not your thoughts. You don't need to resolve the situation immediately. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to match the energy in front of you. Even small changes matter, like responding a little later than usual, keeping your tone neutral instead of sharp, choosing fewer words. These aren't big actions, but they change the direction of the moment. Another place people go wrong is thinking they need to win the situation. Prove a point, correct someone, justify their irritation. But most irritating situations don't need to be solved, they just need to pass. Sometimes calmness is choosing not to engage fully, not because you're scared, but because you don't want to carry the after effect of reacting. It also helps to recognize this pattern. When everything feels annoying, it's often because you've already been pushing yourself too much. Too many conversations, too many expectations, too little pause. So instead of correcting your behavior, adjust your environment. Reduce stimulation when you can. Step away earlier. End conversations without over explaining. You're not being rude, you're being intentional. Another important thing, don't judge yourself for feeling irritated. The judgment adds another layer of tension. Calm isn't about being emotionally perfect, it's about choosing responses that don't make things worse. And sometimes staying calm simply means not saying the first thing that comes to your mind, letting the moment settle and dealing with it later when you're clearer. That's not avoidance, that's control. Real calmness is quiet, practical, and subtle. Most people won't even notice it, but you will. Irritation, annoyance doesn't mean you're impatient or difficult. It usually means you've been stretching yourself too thin. Staying calm isn't about reacting perfectly, it's about reacting less. Not everything needs a response, not every feeling needs to be acted on immediately. Once you start noticing where you go wrong, that is, snapping, suppressing, and forcing the calm, it becomes easier to choose a different response. Not a dramatic one, just a quieter one. That's usually enough. So, this was Pink Moon Talks. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.